Gracie Jiu-Jitsu rocks. Welcome to the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Rocks podcast, a podcast dedicated to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and all things Gracie, including self-defense, competition, anti-bullying, women's self-defense and empowerment, nutrition, and most especially, the people involved in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. This podcast is for the average Joe. It's for anyone who practices, trains, teaches, or just loves to talk about or hear about Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. We'll explore the lives of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, how they got involved in the art, and what effect it's had on their lives. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to episode 170 of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Rocks podcast. As always, I'm your host, Marty Josie, and thanks for listening. Today my guest will be Justin Faiferlick, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But before we do, let's start with our quote, and that is, "A warrior is not judged by his might, but by the depth of his heart." And that's from Anonymous. All right, Justin Faiferlick is the owner of Faiferlick Martial Arts and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Faiferlick in Fort Dodge, Iowa. He is a 7th degree black belt martial artist and a blue belt in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. In this interview, Justin is open, gracious, and courageous enough to share with us his current situation, which is battling stage 4 cancer, and what that journey's been like for him. And hopefully this will serve to all of us to really embrace life and the time we have left in life and live it to its fullest. He also shares his background and journey through the martial arts as well as his military career and shares what he hopes his legacy will be. So I hope you enjoy this interview. After the interview, make sure you stay tuned for the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment. And now, without further ado, let's talk to Justin. All right, I'm speaking with Justin Faiferlick. So welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I'm happy to be talking to you this morning, and I appreciate you being available at such short notice, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, so let's start off, Justin, by just tell me where you grew up, where you're from, and what eventually led you to the martial arts.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Kind of the middle of the state of Iowa, called the heart of the heartland. And lived here most of my life, except for time where I was gone for military deployments or other taekwondo coaching or in participation around the world, actually.
Okay. How old were you when you joined the military?
I was 18.
Wow. And what led you to do that?
I just had a huge sense of patriotism my whole life. It's something I really, really, really wanted to do, and I really wanted to do something kind of special and meaningful. So I joined the United States Air Force in 1987, in July of 1987, and became a special operator with combat control. It was an exciting career field, but yet very dangerous.
And thanks for your service. I think when we spoke before, you were in for a long time, I think like 33 years, and it took you all over the world. And you did something that I think is really cool. You went from enlisted to officer at some point. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I started off, at that time, the combat control was only for enlisted. And nowadays they have it called as something different, and it is open to officers and enlisted now. So it is a different name today, and it was quite different back in the 87s compared to where it is here in the 2020s. So they changed a lot of good things, or a lot of things probably for the good for the most part.
Nice.
I spent some time on, 8 years enlisted, and then over 20 years, or about 25 years on the on the officer side.
Yeah, I always admire when I hear someone who's done that, because it gives you such a great perspective. Not just one or the other, but, once you become an officer, you know what it's like to be enlisted. So it just gives you a whole different perspective. And I think you relate to your people a lot differently.
Yeah. I also become a much better leader really quick as well. And a lot more trust is developed between you and the troops. Yep. Or the airmen in my case.
That's great. That's great. And I know it took you to some really cool places. You were down in my neck of the woods, not my current neck of the woods, but where I grew up in the Florida Panhandle. So you spent a little time there, right?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time down there. And when 9/11 hit, I was down in Florida at 1st Air Force Base, where we took care of the seeds, the air defense networks at that time. We had 4 of them. And I was our unit back here in Fort Dodge, Iowa, the 133rd Test Squadron. We were actually working on a solution to this issue. And actually back in, I was actually there in Florida. The reason I was there in Florida is because we were working on a solution just like what happened. Mm-hmm. So it was amazing. Obviously, there must have been some intel out there. That's why we were down there. So immediately shifted into kind of a training or a seminar into real world. It just happened. Let's go get it done. And so our unit, again, already had the solution. We just had to prove it to the rest of the Air Force. And we went around and installed and trained our unit from Fort Dodge, installed and trained all the other air defense networks at that time. And
wow.
So we had immediate impact. The little town of Fort Dodge, very little people know, and very little people know exactly what we do. But we did test all Air Force equipment for communications, so satellites, radios, computers, all that kind of stuff are the kind of items we would test for the entire Air Force.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Where are a couple of the other places that stand out that you spent some time in?
Yeah. Well, so probably the first, we went to Korea, and it was up on the DMZ with our radar. And then we went to Italy. We just had the greatest timing. So we were actually just on training up on the spur of the Booth in Italy, Mont Chaco Tenente.
Nice.
And we're just doing some training, and sure enough, the Bosnia-Herzegovina conflict kicked off. So we went again from training right into wartime mission.
Wow.
So again, great luck between, there. And then later on, I was deployed to Baghdad in Iraq, and Kandahar in Afghanistan, and Yazid in Al-Qatar. Then, a couple other nice ones that we did for training. Italy was one of them, but it went nice into mission. And then Norway's one, we kind of got to get away and do some extra training up on the Arctic Circle, which is where somewhere close we might want to be for certain deployments. So it was good training up there as well in Norway.
Wow. So you've certainly seen some interesting times and situations and places for sure.
Yes, for sure. Yep.
Well, like I said, thanks for your service. You certainly committed to a lot of years and put in your effort and made a difference. So let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about your family, but also your martial arts journey. So which one came first? Did you start your family and then get into martial arts, or did you start martial arts and then start a family? Yeah,
great question. So in 84 is when I started martial arts. 87 is when I went into the Air Force. And then started martial arts in 84. So my girlfriend at the time, we became, so that came first, and then the family came in about, we got married in 92. So we started dating in about 86 or 87. My wife and I now, we started dating then and been married ever since, so happily married. We have, all my family lives in Fort Dodge, so what a blessing to have our kids and grandkids to stay in Fort Dodge, because there's a lot of other lucrative opportunities in, Ames or Des Moines or some other place, or Chicago, but they decided to stay close, and they had children. It was such a blessing. So my daughter is Kelsey. She's grown. She's married to Zach Felch from Tennessee, and they met by his dad and I were deployed at the same time. So they had this opportunity for kids to go to Jekyll Island and spend some time, kids of people that were deployed since spend some time together. So it's all my fault
Yeah.
that they met, and they ended up having two girls. So the first girl is Grace, and her and I are just stuck at the hip. We're so close. It's incredible. One of the friendships I'll just, never forget. She's so close bonded to me. It's crazy. And then their other daughter, Arya, and so Grace is about 4, Arya is about 2.5, and just so smart, both of them. And Arya's kind of like me too. If Grace wants something, Arya wants it too, no matter what it is. And then my son Michael is married to a school teacher who passed away, and Michael's wife's name is Ashley. And they have one boy, Lucas, so we get to carry on the Faiferlick name, because otherwise it would have been done with Michael. So I'm glad we got a boy, because the other girls obviously are Felches, because my daughter married. So Lucas gets to carry on and has the stress to carry on the Faiferlick name.
Right.
Yeah, but they could have more. Michael could have more too.
Absolutely. Well, what a blessing, like you said, to have your entire family in your area, so you get to experience them and be part of their lives so much and so often.
And something that we did when I found out we had cancer was, he might have done it before then, actually. He might not have been tied with the beginning of cancer, but every Sunday or Saturday night, so we call it every Sunday night dinner, and sometimes we change Saturday night. They're both S&D, Saturday or Sunday night dinner. And we rotate houses. So this week it's my daughter's turn to host. We go to her house, and she'll cook a meal for all of us, and we just sit and communicate and socialize for a good, maybe 2 hours, and then they got to go get their kids to bed, and we leave, and it's such a wonderful day. It just brings all of us closer and keeps us all updated where everybody's at, and just love having that quality time with the kids and grandkids.
That's so good, man. That's worth everything, right?
It is. It truly is.
Absolutely. And when we talk a little bit about your academy, I'm sure your family's involved in that as well. But let's back up for a moment.
They're all black belts.
Oh, that's great.
At least second, third, and fourth degrees. So yeah.
Excellent. So you got started. Let's talk about your martial arts journey. You got started in Taekwondo way back in the day.
Yeah, back in 1984, when I was walking through the YMCA, and I dealt with physical abuse as a child, so I was looking for something to help me stop the cycle of physical abuse, and that's kind of what really motivated me there. And one of the things I'm most proud of in my life is stopping that cycle from, me getting abused to abusing somebody else. And so I'm just so very proud of myself for being able to make that happen, and not abuse my kids, and hopefully, of course, stop the cycle where they'll stop with their kids, what they're seeing well on the way to do. So just very proud of that.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I started in 84, and I got my black belt by the time I was, the year was about, I think, 86. So it was about a year and a half is what it was, 85, 86. I think I was out for injury for a little bit, so physical time was about a year and a half, but I think the dates work out to about 2 years. Yeah, just under 2 years. And then just kind of up through the ranks, and back then it was very much about you did not, of course, go past your instructor. You always had to follow them. So a lot of my time was waiting for my instructor to get promoted, and then I would test and he would promote me. So sometimes there'd be quite a delay in there on him testing or, getting me ready for the testing. But I worked up through the ranks by 19. That skips a lot of years, so I could have been there much quicker than I am now, but I would just break it off like in the 90s there, maybe. Had my fourth done by 1998. So within, 8 and 12 years or so, maybe fourth dan. And then got my seventh dan just a year ago, March 1st of 2023. I got my seventh dan, and
wow.
Always kind of worked through, the number of years for the number of dans, which a lot of places don't do, but where we are. And then I also ranked up in Sokaruba Jiu-Jitsu, which is an integrated style for self-defense, and I started that in 2013, which had a lot of Japanese style Jiu-Jitsu. So I've been Jiu-Jitsu since 2013, or messed with it before that, but that's when I started doing some belt ranking scrapings with them, and I got my black belt through them by April of 2015. So,
and you've done some other arts as well. Let's see.
No, they're all mixed in. We integrated. We started our own traditional mixed martial arts for self-defense because with Taekwondo, we know it's not none of the martial arts are the ultimate system by themselves. Taekwondo was great standing up, but once it got to the ground, unless you did a lot of very old school Taekwondo, you wouldn't really know what to do from there. And so that's where we created our own traditional mixed martial arts for self-defense because we were doing those self-defense techs anyway. We just called it self-defense, not to confuse the students with judo, jiu-jitsu, aikido. So we just officially renamed it and redid our curriculum and redid our testing curriculum. And then I also started Gracie Jiu-Jitsu back in, I guess I got my orange belt in 2018, but I know I started at least before 2017. And then we got the territory to become a CTC, got the territory approved in 2018 with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu as a certified training center. Got my combative belt, did my Gracie Survival Tactics instructors levels 1 and 2, and I got my blue belt in July of 2019.
Nice.
Recertified as instructor in 2019. And then we got another official renewal on the certified trainer in 2019, and got my 2 stripes on my blue belt in November 15th of 2022. But I've had such a hard time with the cancer and my memory. I had the memory issues before that.
Yeah.
I just can't do what's required of the belt ranking system. So I'm kind of on hold. I do have 4 instructors that are there ready to go to help us out. My wife as well is a certified instructor, and both her and I are certified in the Women Empowered program as well.
Wow.
We love it. It's really a complete system. If any one of the martial arts were complete, I'd say it's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and such a great curriculum laid out, and the principles of Jiu-Jitsu all included is, the number one that, I like to teach. It has a lot of details, of course, techniques which people may not realize, but a lot of techniques there to learn and slices. Yeah, my wife and I love teaching it.
Well, first of all, I think it's great that you have your wife heavily involved with you doing that. I always think it's so good and love to hear when people, a couple or a family are doing it together. I mean, it's just so good for your family. And then you said a handful of other instructors. So it sounds like you got great support around your academy. Yeah. I actually went through the first Women Empowered ICP way back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. Which is really cool. But it sounds like you've got a great thing going there and are certainly making a difference in people's lives. Tell us a little more about your academy. I've seen a few pictures. It looks like a huge, beautiful academy.
Yeah. So we have over 20,000 square foot. We have over 9,100 square foot of just mat space. So we're in an old bowling alley, if you can think about it.
Oh, wow.
And all the bowling alleys are all mat. All the lanes are all mat.
How cool is that?
And so it's beautiful. It's a great, if somebody's looking for a location, I'd look for a bowling alley, an old bowling alley that might be closed, or sometimes an old service station.
Right.
Like an old mechanic station where they kind of got the open bays, a little bit smaller, than a bowling alley. But those are 2 great ways if you want to jump in and find a location for CTC. And if you have the desire and the funds to, spend on something like that, it's quite a bit, but it lays out nicely.
I've never thought about that. What a great idea. An old bowling alley. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you recently had Hiron Gracie there? Yeah,
he was just here this past weekend. He really came, because my cancer really came really just to spend the weekend with my wife and I, and we threw in a seminar just for the heck of it. And it was Easter weekend, so it was kind of short, but Hiron's been so incredible. He's so supportive. He calls or texts me every other day, it seems, or definitely a couple of times a week. And he's, for somebody of his stature to really, truly care. And, it's authentic.
Yes.
And he's been such a blessing in my life on such a personal level and the gym, but personal probably more than anything. I never thought somebody, people of his stature, people think, he's, I don't know what they might think, that
too busy or whatever.
Too busy, way up there and tight. He's got tons of this going on, and he does. But he makes the time. He says, he'll actually be traveling somewhere and see somebody's name pop up in a post, and he'll give him a holler. And you just don't see that. You think of a CEO of a large, 200,000 people, 200,000 CTCs from around the world, and he's willing to do that for every one of them and every member. He's a great mentor and motivator.
He is. He really is the real deal.
As well, I just love having him as a friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
He really is the real deal. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't get into hero worship, anymore like I did when I was much younger. But I gotta say, he is a hero,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he is authentic, like you said. I was in Costa Rica on vacation with my family last week, and he reached out, and we had to play phone tag, but he reached out to tell me about you and your story, and that's what I was like. I was so moved, hearing a bit about it that that I wanted to talk to you for sure. But he is the real deal, without a doubt. So we're all blessed to know him and have him in our lives. So
right.
So Justin, let's talk a little bit about you've mentioned cancer a few times. Let's talk a little bit about your diagnosis and your current situation.
Yeah. So how we first found it is I was going to the VA in the Veterans Administration I'm a 100% disabled veteran, but I was having problems with my memory and my control of my fingers and my hands. And so, very clumsy memory. I couldn't think of things, couldn't remember people's names, couldn't remember, the details in slice 1 of lesson 1, or something that I've done a million times or thousands of times. And, just, I don't know, can't remember it. So, this one's probably a bad example because that one is one you don't forget when you're teaching, right?
Right.
Or, new students. So that's probably a bad example. That one I remember. Most of them I got to, just review, and now with Combatives 2.0, I got to review everything. But so the VA took a scan, and they found a tumor by my brain. And that's how we first found the tumor. Without that, I went to knowing I was really not in pain, just memory and fingers issues. And so I would have never known I would have had cancer if they wouldn't have done that kind of a screening. And then they referred me to University of Iowa City, or University Hospital, to go there. And so we went there, and of course they double-checked all the labs and confirmed everything. So in July, they diagnosed me with metastatic melanoma. So the metastatic means we don't know where it started, but we know where it is and that it's there. So that was the initial diagnosis in January. The doctor gave me, just because of how far I was progressed, basically in stage 4 right away, he gave me 6 months to 2 years to live. And 6 months, I just about died. Your liver function is supposed to be between 40 and 129. When I got to the hospital, my level was 2,204. So my liver was dying, was killing me, and it about did. But they got me back on my feet in about a week. Then took me off all the meds. We was doing immunotherapy, so they think that ended up being part of it. So they took me off that, took me off the chemo pills I was using as well. We stopped all treatment from then until we just started. I was hospitalized just on Wednesday. So they kept me overnight last night, and I came back home yesterday because normally they want to keep me in for about a week, but I'm like, no, I want to go spend time with my family because they found now all the tumors had increased in size and increased in number by a lot. And so I have one in my left head near my brain, not on my brain. I've got one in my lymph nodes are fighting in my neck. They're swollen. I've got one in my, I say one, but it's more. I have some in my left lung and now in my right lung as well, which I didn't have before. I used to have 7 in the kidneys, but now they can't even count them. I'm sorry, in the liver, which is where everything was going so bad. There's some in the kidneys, and then the newer one was in my spine on my L5, my lumbar. And now with the new scan, they found it going all the way down through my hips. And I have incredible back pain that makes it difficult to do much of anything. They put me back on some stronger pain med killers because we're just trying to live a quality life and kind of get through everything with where we're at. My wife, likes to ward it just to kind of keep it real. In a sense, right? Plan A is to live 50 more years. Plan B is the scans that we just took confirmed that the cancer is spread into my bones, which explains why I'm having so much pain. We're starting chemo pills to try to shrink the tumors. We're working with palliative care to get the plan to control the pain. And so that's kind of where we are now. In plan A is live 50 or more years plus, stay positive, and try to live a quality life and spend time with my family.
Yes.
And my jiu-jitsu, my martial arts family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, my heart goes out to you, my friend. I can't even imagine being in your situation, but man, your courage amazes me. And I thank God that you do have your family and your jiu-jitsu family or martial arts family around you, supporting you and being there with you. I think that is worth so much, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I started thinking if I was in that situation, and like I said, I know none of us can even imagine until you're there. But I just started letting my mind wander, like, what if I had possibly limited time? What would I want to do? How would I want to spend that time? And a couple of things came to mind. The first was to spend as much time with the people I love as possible, and it sounds like you're certainly doing that and appreciating every day, every minute you have. The second thing would be to do things I always wanted to do but never have. And I think Hiram mentioned you recently did an MMA fight, because that's something that you'd always wanted to do.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but I did want something I did want to do. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then third, to know that I'm making a difference in others' lives, and I think you're doing that now by telling your story and increasing people's awareness and certainly impacting lives. So I totally respect you for that.
Thank you. His MMA fight was so cool. I was never nervous at all. I was so prepared, and it was a good matchup. And the dude was strong, so my jiu-jitsu folks will relate to this for sure. I had a game plans going in, and I started executing it. Just wanted to show my striking. And the video's out there on my Facebook page somewhere. It's probably buried down from February 10th.
All right.
And I hit him with a few strikes. He hit me once with a kick, and I never got hit again.
Wow.
So that was kind of my goal, right? Never to get hit, or hit once is okay.
Yeah.
And then I struck him back, had a couple of strikes, and then I kicked him with a taekwondo side kick, I'll call it, right? And about he was going down, I jumped in and I said, "You're not going down, buddy. I'm taking you down," because I didn't want him to give up. It was a hard blow. So I took him down with like an Ogoshi throw, Japanese terms, so hip toss, I guess, and then did some ground and pound just right there from the mount position. And then what I really wanted to finish on was a triangle choke, of course, for the Gracies, or
nice.
a rear naked choke. Hiram said, "Well, maybe a rear naked choke," and I couldn't get either one of them. He wouldn't give them to me. He was tough. But in fact, through all of that, he gave me his arm, and I did Americana key lock. So,
all right.
Finished it, hurt his shoulder a little bit, but he's fine. And so I'm an undefeated AMI MMA fighter now, 1-0.
That's great, man. That's amazing.
And so I'm not looking for another one.
Well, you did it. And I love how you were able to showcase a lot of your different skills, from different arts. And then as far as jiu-jitsu, you didn't...
People knew me as a taekwondo guy, right? They knew I knew how to kick and strike. But a lot of people in the community don't know that I know, jiu-jitsu and the other forms of styles. So I had to show them that I know more than just taekwondo.
Absolutely. And I like how you weren't... You were kind of looking for a certain rear naked, but when it wasn't available, you went with what was there. That's awesome, man. Right? Take what they give you.
Got me right.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Gracie taught me.
That's right. Well, share with us a little bit about. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people, but a few of the people that stand out in your life that have had great impact on you, whether it's martial arts or just in life or anything, just people that stand out that have been really impactful in your life.
Yeah, my wife, of course, number one.
And what's her name?
Deanne.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been together so long, and she's just been a wonderful spouse, and it shows again during these times where she really has to take care of me, and sometimes she has to go to chauffeur when I can't drive, and she had to do that again this morning, and so I wasn't driving for months because of the cancer, and I think I finally got to drive once in maybe early March, maybe I got to drive again, and that's nice because she'd be missing work, which means missing pay, and then she's getting behind at work, which means she's getting overloaded, which means she's got overloaded with stress throughout the whole time. So I wanted to remove that stress on her and started driving, and we got there. So I'm driving, but now with this newest thing, on Wednesday, I'm chauffeured again for right now, but I'm hoping to drive again soon, tomorrow.
Yeah.
but so she's number one. Huron's probably been right up there too with somebody who I look forward to or look as to like a hero, like you were saying. And sometimes, as you know, Marty, I often mix up names. So sometimes I say Henner and Huron. I hope I'm saying the right one, of course, but it's Huron, the one that's been so much in contact with me. But Henner as well has been so supportive with everything as well. But Harris had the personal collection with me, and it's been a lot just having some of that stature to be able to call you and talk to you and talk to, not just about cancer, but about life and everything else, and then beyond that, really, truly, of course, my kids are up there, and then my martial arts family. Every one of them will come and say, if you need me, I'll be there. Tell me what you need. So we created a list of things they kind of wanted done, and I think everything's just about done with that list. So that's been beautiful, to have that extra help and care, and it's pretty much all from my martial arts family. Not too many people outside of that.
That's great. That's great. Let me ask you, so from your perspective in your current situation, what thoughts or advice or anything would you like to share with people?
Yeah, I think something I want to make sure I'm doing is, I want to leave a legacy and leave a legacy of grace. And so, I think that's a beautiful aspiration. It emphasizes the importance of being kind and forgiving, understanding, and then having empathy and compassion. A lot of things we might relate to in our jiu-jitsu lives as well, or martial arts. And then being generous with my time and my talents and my resources, whatever I can give. Leading by example in my life, all aspects, so my relationships and work and community involvement. I want to be characterized by positivity and goodwill to all my friends, living a life of compassion and carrying world for generations. I'm hoping at least here around where I'm at, cherishing my time with loved ones and embodying the values I hold dear that I can help me achieve my goal of leaving a legacy of grace. So that's kind of my words of my passion of what I'm living for now. I don't know if that quite hits your answer, Marty.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Those are amazing things to strive for, to live by, and to want to impart to others. And it sounds like when you have that kind of attitude and mindset, and that as a goal, I think you can't help but exude that kind of energy to those around you. And I think that really sets in motion so many lives, that are improved for the good. And you probably have no idea just how many. You may be aware of some, but that kind of energy really does affect so many people.
Yep.
So anything else that you would like to just talk about or to tell the audience? Anything that you think people should keep in mind with the time that any of us have left, or just any words at all that you want to share?
I'd say just staying positive. Again, plan A is to live 15 years, and plan B is really where I'm at, and just trying to stay on a positive path no matter where I'm at and what's going on. Just trying to want to be somebody who's worth remembering for, for all the things I've done for these last few years, everything I'm doing, and for most of my life, I guess. But we are having a silent auction coming up on Sunday, May 5th, and so we're looking for donations for that to help raise some money, or sometimes it's just cash, sometimes it's a basket of something, but I can maybe get you a flyer on that if you want, Marty. That helps at all.
Yeah, tell us a little more about that. I know that you've had a lot of, been hit with a lot of medical bills and challenges. So I want people to know how they can help you and your family. So tell us how we can do that.
So, we're falling behind $3,000 every month and not catching up on anything. So it's been a struggle and puts a lot of pressure on my wife, since she's the one who pays the bills or has to find a way to pay them. But, the letter just explains kind of what I already did. I think about when I was diagnosed with cancer and has my family in here, and how it turned my life upside down in June July of being diagnosed, and uh, yeah, that's yeah.
How
Yeah.
how can people help financially? Is there a site we can go to, or a place we can get in touch or send money to?
Yeah, yeah. And first, I want to say, in-person thoughts are always appreciated
Absolutely.
as well, right? If we at least that, if we can't do anything, for sure that. And then, so we have, they can just Venmo me. I think we're working on a couple of sites that are just not up yet. But my Venmo is my name, so it's at Justin-Faiferlick. So the at symbol, JUSTIN hyphen. Faiferlick is FAIFERLICK. So that A is kind of silent in there. Faiferlick, FAI, F as in Frank, AI, F as in Frank, ERLICK. And that's probably just the easiest way to take any kind of donation for us. We have different accounts we can put it into, whether it's for donations or for equipment or whatever it is.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely put that on the show notes as well, so people can just easily find it and access it. So,
yeah.
Well, Justin, man, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time to be here and share your, not only your story, your background and everything, but your current situation and where you are. And man, the courage that you have to just talk about it and increase awareness and everything is just, it's wonderful. So I really, hats off to you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. As we close, any other, any thoughts or comments, as we close?
I don't think so, Marty. I think you hit everything perfectly. So I think we're good.
All right. Well, hang in there. Everybody will certainly be sending thoughts and prayers at the very least, if not any monetary contributions we can. And our thoughts and prayers will be with you for sure, Justin, as you continue to face this and take it on, my friend.
Yep. Thank you, Marty.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for being on, and take care.
Yep. All right. Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, man, I am so honored to have the chance to speak with Justin, and I just really want to acknowledge a few things. First, you know, he stopped the cycle of abuse, the generational cycle, and man, that is so big. And I know he said he was proud of himself for that, but I'm so proud of that. It's such a huge thing in our society, this generational abuse. So when I hear that someone has stopped that, man, I'm amazed, and I'm just so proud of him for that. And I'm also just grateful for his willingness and openness to share his situation and his struggle with cancer. I'm grateful that he was able to share his courage, his legacy of grace that he wants to leave. And I hope everyone listening will all show their love and support for Justin and his family by keeping him in our thoughts and our prayers and donating money as you can to him and his family. I'll definitely put the Venmo link in the show notes so you can do that. You know, we will all leave this life one day, and none of us knows exactly when it will be or how much time we have left. So I hope this serves as a reminder for all of us to live our lives to the fullest, to make the most of every day that we have, and to tell the people that we love them, and to, again, to make the most of every single day, every minute that we're granted in this life. Up next is the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment, and if you think about it, in a way, this whole episode has been one long extended Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment, for sure. Anyway, next up is the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment.
Many of us act as if we are going to live forever. We postpone things that we know deep down we must do. Going after our dreams, telling those we love how we really feel, taking that course, not taking that job, saying yes, saying no. We forget there are no guarantees of next year, next month, or even tomorrow. We forget even the longest of lives flash by so fast. We settle. We give up. We accept less than we know we are worth. All the time knowing how short life is. Even though we know how short life is, we barely even live while we are alive. For most people, when their heart stops beating, it will be a mere formality. The truth is, one day, it will be all over. It is one of the very few guarantees you have in life. One day, it will be over. When you start every morning with that thought in mind, your life becomes powerful. Because you can now release all fear from your life. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of anything. It is not a prescription to become reckless or careless, rather a license to go after your dream life, to stand up for what you believe in, to love more and to live more. It is the knowing that every moment you spend on this earth is part of the legacy you will leave behind. With that in mind, you can choose kindness over being right. Choose the hard but rewarding task over the easy and meaningless one. Choose to help one another instead of yourself. Choose to become the person you want to be remembered as, starting right now. Steve Jobs said death is very likely the single best invention of life. He said, remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. And he was right. He was so right. You have nothing to lose. You won't make it in the end. So live fully now. Go after your dreams and do it with passion. No stress. Full effort, but no struggle. Live this day as if your days are numbered, because they are. It is not something to fear. It is something to cherish. What if this was your last day? Would you be satisfied with your life if you went out tomorrow? Have you given your all? Have you done yourself justice?
And that's going to do it for this edition of the show. As always, I thank you for listening. Hope you're enjoying the show. Please like and follow us on social media and help us spread the word by reposting our posts and telling others about the show. You can leave comments on the website at www.GJJR.com. You can also go to iTunes and leave comments as well as rate the show. And we would appreciate a 5-star rating, which helps us with our standing in iTunes. You can also leave comments on our YouTube channel. If you have suggestions for the show, please don't hesitate to give those. We always like feedback and suggestions. Okay, that's going to do it. So until next time, this is Marty Josie, and I'll see you on the mat.